Hello students, welcome to the Pole Science of Class 12 Arts, and today we will start with a very new topic from the Pole Science, that is foreign policy of India. So as we all know that any country who wants to be economically advanced and developed needs a good foreign policy of its own. So regarding that only we shall start with the foreign policy of India today, and we will try to understand what are the policies that our country is following in order to become an economic hub in the 21st century. So let us proceed then. So regarding the foreign policy, let us begin with a brief history about the India's foreign policy after it became independence. Since then, what are the policies that India is following regarding the foreign policy? So according to first point, after India gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1947, it soon joined the Commonwealth of Nations and strongly supported independence movements in other colonies like the Indonesian National Revolution. That means what? As soon as we know that India gained independence in the year 1947, so as soon as it got independence, it came under, or you can say India joined under the Commonwealth of Nations. That means that will work for the development and welfare of all the countries, those who are under the Commonwealth of Nations, and strongly supported independence movements in other colonies like the Indonesian National Revolution. And when India got independence in the year 1947, after that also many countries were there who were still under some colonial rules. So in regard to that, India knew the struggle how the country is facing related to the freedom movement. So after India got independence itself, after that it supported or it helped the other countries so that other countries can be free from the colonial rules. And one example is given, like it supported the Indonesian National Revolution during that time. After that, during the Cold War, India adopted a foreign policy of not aligning itself to any other major power bloc. However, India developed close ties with the Soviet Union and received extensive military support from it. The end of Cold War significantly affected India's foreign policy. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, India began to review its foreign policy in a unipolar world and took steps to develop closer ties with the European Union and the United States. So after that, while it gained independence and it's supported or it tried to help the other countries in getting independence, after that, during the Cold War that started after the Second World War, if you remember, the Second World War was from 1939 to 1945. So after that, two major power blocs came into power. The first power bloc was led by the United States of America, which was known as the NATO, and the second power bloc was led by the United Union of Socialist and Soviet Republic, that was known as USSR. That was a union of 19 countries, and that was known as the Warsaw, or you can say the Eastern Alliance. So at that time, India decided that during that time, from the year 1945 to 1991, when the USSR got finally dissolved, since that time India promised that it will not come under any other power bloc or any of the two power blocs. It will not be under, it will become independent, it will not be coming under any of the power blocs, neither the USA or nor the USSR. But however, India developed close ties with Soviet Union and received military support from it. As we know that India did not came under any of the alliances, but then also India had a good relation with the USSR. Formal relation was there, which was quite good with the USSR, and in lieu of that, the USSR helped India regarding the military help. So as a kind of protection, India was getting kind of military protection or military help from the USSR, for the reason that India had maintained a good relation with USSR. So the end of Cold War significantly affected India's foreign policy. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, India began to review its foreign policy in an unipolar world. So after that, as we know that the USSR disintegrated in the year 1991, that means it was dissolved. So at that time, as India was not having good relations with the United States of America, and it was having a formal good relations with the USSR. So when the USSR finally dissolved in the year 1991, so the time had came that India again had to review its foreign policy, because after the disintegration of USSR, only one superpower was left, and that was the United States of America. So at that time, after 1991 onwards, the world had become a unipolar world. That means only a lone superpower was left, and that was the United States of America. So it started reviewing that, as because USSR is not there, so slowly and steadily India began to take good relation or closer ties with the European Union also and the United States also, because the European Union was one of the powerful intergovernmental organizations or regional organizations at that particular time, and the United States of America was also the lone superpower. So it was quite necessary for India that it had to review its foreign policy, and in order to reviewing its foreign policy, India needed to do the two most essential developments. Number one was to maintain good relations with the USA, because earlier India was maintaining distance. So at this particular moment, it was very much needed that India needed to maintain good relations with the United States of America, and as well as the European Union, which was formed at that particular era, and the European Union became a very powerful inter-regional organization at that time, because they had everything, starting from their common currency, common flag, and the only thing that they did not have was the constitution. So apart from that, it was a very powerful inter-regional organization. Clear? After that, after reviewing the foreign policy or the history of foreign policy, now let us proceed to the foreign policy of India. Now about foreign policy of India, most Indians agree that its first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru had defined a unique foreign policy for India at the very dawn of its independence. At the very dawn means on 14th August midnight, he had declared that India has attained independence. At that very moment, he had also declared a unique foreign policy for India along with the independence speech. Since the 1990s, though the challenge for Indian leaders has been to interpret Nehru's ideas to suit the new political context that had confronted it. So it was running very nicely up to 1991. Whatever Jawaharlal Nehru started at the dawn of the midnight speech, that India attained independence, from that particular day and year of 1947 to 1991, it was maintaining a good foreign policy in which it was maintaining distance from both the alliances. It was not under both the alliances, any of the alliances, and along with that, India also was getting military assistance from USSR, as the relation between USSR and India was quite good at that moment. But after the year 1991, when the USSR got dissolved, at that particular moment, India started reviewing its foreign policy, because the change was needed, as USSR was not there and it was overtaken by Russia. So at that particular moment, it started adjusting to the new environment, and whilst adjusting to the new environment, it started making cordial relations with the USA also and the European Union also. Clear? So with this, we have come to the end of today's topic. In today's topic, we had first started understanding about the history related to India's foreign policy, from when did it started. After that, we also started about the pros and cons of the foreign policy of India, that in which India was involved in a situation of dilemma from the year 1947 to 1991. And lastly, we read that the main contribution to create a good foreign policy was from our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, and it was carried on in its foothold only, that after 1991, when the USSR got disintegrated, after that new leaders came and they started reviewing and following Jawaharlal Nehru's path in achieving a good foreign policy and giving a good foreign policy for India. So I hope that whatever the points we have discussed today, it is now clear to you. With this, I will wind up today's topic. Thank you.